Somewhere in the Voynich Rare Book Library at Yale University sits a book. It is 240 pages long. It was written sometime in the early 1400s. It contains illustrations of plants that don't exist, astronomical diagrams no one understands, and text, hundreds of pages of text, in a language that has never been identified. 600 years of silence. This is the Voynich Manuscript, and this is why it may be forever lost.
The year is 1912. A Polish-American antiquarian book dealer named Wilfred Voynich is browsing the Villa Mondragone, an abandoned Jesuit college outside Rome. He finds a chest of old manuscripts, and inside it, something he has never seen before. A handwritten book, vellum pages, illustrated throughout, with plants nobody can identify, with women bathing in elaborate plumbing systems that don't make sense, with circular star charts pointing to no known constellation. And on every page, dense, flowing script, hundreds of words, line after line after line, in a language no one on Earth could read. Voynich brings it back to America. He spends the rest of his life trying to have it decoded. He dies having failed. Carbon dating in 2009 would later confirm the manuscript dates to between 1404 and 1438. It was written during the early Renaissance, when Europe's greatest minds were mapping the known world. And somehow, one of them wrote something nobody else could understand.
Researchers have divided the manuscript into 6 sections, each one stranger than the last. The herbal section, illustrations of plants. Some have roots, some have flowers. None of them match any known species on Earth. Botanists from around the world have studied them for decades. Not one has been identified. The astronomical section, circular diagrams, stars, moons, zodiac symbols. The symbols don't match any known constellation system from medieval Europe, or anywhere else. The biological section, perhaps the most unsettling. Rows of small human figures, women, bathing in an elaborate network of tubes, pools, and channels. The plumbing connects nothing. The architecture follows no law of physics. Nobody knows what this section means. The pharmaceutical section, jars and containers, roots and leaves, more unknown plants. The recipes section, short, dense paragraphs, each marked with a star. They appear to be instructions for something. Nobody knows what. And then, pages of pure text, dense columns, page after page. Something someone needed to say. We just can't hear it.
Here are the numbers that define this mystery. 240 pages, approximately 38,000 words, more than a short novel's worth of text in a language nobody can read. Over 170 unique characters in the script. By comparison, the English alphabet has 26, Latin has 23, Arabic has 28. The Voynich script has symbols found nowhere else on Earth. The word frequency distribution follows what linguists call Zipf's law, the same statistical pattern found in every known natural language. This means whoever wrote it was either writing a real language or was sophisticated enough to fake the mathematical fingerprint of one. Either possibility is terrifying. And the book is valued today at conservatively over $100 million. It sits behind security at Yale,
fully photographed, fully digitized, fully online, and completely, utterly unreadable. When linguists and cryptographers analyze the Voynich manuscript, they find something that shouldn't be possible. The script reads consistently, left to right. Words have standard lengths, mostly 4 to 6 characters. Some words appear repeatedly, suggesting grammatical function words like the or and. The entropy, the mathematical randomness of the text, matches that of natural human language. This rules out random gibberish. Someone was not just making symbols up as they went. There is structure here. Real, deliberate, systematic structure. But here's where it gets impossible. The text has almost no corrections. In medieval manuscripts, scribes made mistakes, crossed out words, added notes in margins. The Voynich manuscript has almost none of this. Either the author wrote with inhuman precision, or they were copying something, transcribing rather than composing. Meaning somewhere there may have been an original source, something even older, something that no longer exists. And there are sections where the same word appears 3 times in a row. Linguists call this reduplication. It appears in some known languages, but nowhere near as frequently as it does here. The manuscript may be, in the technical linguistic sense, not a language at all, but something else entirely. Something for which we have no category.
For over a century, the greatest minds in cryptography, linguistics, and computer science have attempted to decode the Voynich manuscript. None have succeeded. In 1919, Professor William Romain Newbold of the University of Pennsylvania announced he had cracked it. He claimed the manuscript contained advanced scientific knowledge, including a description of cells under a microscope centuries before microscopes were invented. The academic world celebrated. Then, after Newbold died, researchers checked his work and found it was entirely projection. He had seen patterns that weren't there. A cautionary tale that haunts every subsequent attempt. During World War II, the U.S. Army Signal Intelligence Service put its top codebreakers on the manuscript. These were the same people cracking Nazi and Japanese military codes. They gave up. The NSA, the National Security Agency, declassified their internal analysis of the Voynich manuscript in 2014. Their conclusion? Unknown. In 2013, computer scientists applied statistical analysis and stylometry, the science of identifying authorship through writing patterns. They found evidence the text was written by 2 different people in 2 different styles. So we may be looking at a collaboration between 2 authors writing something nobody else could understand. In 2018, a team at the University of Alberta used artificial intelligence to analyze the manuscript. AI matched the word patterns to Hebrew. Headlines around the world declared it solved. Within weeks, Hebrew scholars reviewed the proposed translation. It was nonsense. The manuscript had fooled the machine.
In the absence of a solution, theories have multiplied. Theory 1. It's a hoax. A medieval forger constructed a convincingly language-like document to sell to a wealthy patron. If so, it worked. The Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II reportedly purchased it for 600 gold ducats. But a modern hoax sophisticated enough to fool AI and the NSA for 6 centuries would require an intellect almost beyond imagining. Theory 2. It is a real language. Specifically, a constructed language, an early attempt at creating a universal communication system centuries before Esperanto. Some scholars believe a Franciscan friar named Roger Bacon created it. Others point to John Dee, the royal court magician of Queen Elizabeth I. Theory 3. It is a medical text. The plants, even if fictional, may be symbolic.
The women in the biological section may represent stages of human development. The pharmaceutical section may document treatments. If so, it is a complete medical encyclopedia in a private language of one person's invention. Theory 4, it is a cipher. A very, very good cipher. One whose key died with its author. And Theory 5, the one that keeps researchers awake at night. It may be all of these things simultaneously. A constructed language used to encode a real medical text, written by an unknown author in a cipher only they understood. A message in a bottle thrown into time, never received.
Here is what we know for certain. Someone, probably in the early 1400s, sat down with ink and vellum and wrote something. They had a reason. They had knowledge they wanted to preserve or protect or share with someone specific. They wrote for pages and pages and pages. Hundreds of words, illustrations, diagrams, care and craft on every page. And at some point, they finished. They set down their pen. Perhaps they handed it to someone. Perhaps they hid it. Perhaps they thought it would be found by the right person. Instead, it sat in a castle for 5 centuries. Then it traveled to America, then to Yale, then to the internet. Billions of human eyes have now looked at it. The most powerful thinking machines ever built have processed every character. And we still don't know what they were trying to say. We may never know. The Voynich Manuscript, forever lost.